I would be relaxing for a moment, and then it would be like, um, it just hit me. So I would start crying more and more. So it was pretty awful. And I just felt like a sense of loss, like I don't belong anywhere. And, because I wasn't working, I felt worthless. And, I was just having a lot of post traumatic stress disorder. And, I did a blog on unyielding tears, and it was like, I just sit there and I would start crying, and I just felt so depressed. I felt so lost, and everything was just crumbling, and I just went to like this like horrible, horrible, dark place, and it wasn't healthy. It wasn't healthy. And the next step is upward turn. And this is the part where things, all these little pieces, so shock, pain, guilt, anger, bargaining, depression, all these pieces came together. And I was like, you know what? We're going to turn this into something. Um, you know, I think that I was given a second chance to um, bring awareness, to do something about it, to become a patient advocate, to tell my story, just to get it out. So it was like, I'm going to take all this stuff and I'm going to turn it into something. And I journaled from like the second, like I woke up, like I was on my phone and journaling, and then I start writing and writing, and I was like, I'm going to turn this into something. I want this story to get out. I want people to know, and I want to know other people's stories. And it like it made me feel a sense of purpose again. And which leads to the next part, reconstruction. So I start reconstructing my whole life and my mission, and what I'm gonna do. So like I have like this list of stuff that I want to accomplish, and I don't have a timeline because I'm not gonna put myself in that spot where I'm gonna feel like I didn't reach that timeline and then feel like a failure. But I'm like, these are my steps of life of what I want to do, and I'm gonna accomplish it one way or the other to the last day. I am gonna do something about this. I will not let it control me in a negative way. I'm going to let it control the narrative of how I'm going to send my message out. So that led to acceptance. So I accepted that this happened to me, and it gave me hope that I will be able to help others. So here's the other part of it. So in my blog, in Grief and Zen, I talk about the 7 stages of grief. So, I didn't mention, you learn tools to help you get through each of those stages. Cognitive behavior therapy works great. I learned that with my eating disorder. And so I know, you take like your irrational thoughts of what you're thinking, reality, and it's like you need to find like a merge of like, something, that's real. So I have a lot of tools that I utilize to help me get through everything. So I don't feel that I'm lacking in that area, and I have a support system. But the thing is, I think there's a misconception that once you hit your 7 stages, it's over with and you're good to go. And I think that's kind of like, the 12-step program for like alcoholics. Like, once you hit your 12 steps, like, hey, you're good to go. No, you're not. It starts over and over again. So 7 stages of grief, while you hit all 7 of them, it's going to circle back and circle back over and over. So, you might be having a day where you go back in shock, then you go back into anger, then you go back to sadness, and then you feel empowered. And each time I feel that it gets easier, because if you find tools that help you each time that circle hits you of that grief, that you have more tools to utilize to make it the noise level turn down. So that's something that I want to emphasize, that 7 stages of grief, you got to go through it. You can't deny it. You have to go through it. There's no way around it. You cannot do it, and I don't know what that's going to look like for you. You might be fine, but you might be in denial, and it may hit you later on in life. But I am very strong on how I believe that in order to see the light, you have to acknowledge that you are in darkness and that you have to crawl out. And 7 stages of grief, acknowledging them and going through every single motion, you're feeling it, you're learning from it, and slowly you're building those tools. And you acknowledge that I am going to have days where I'm going to be depressed. There are going to be days where I'm frustrated, but I have tools, and I know that I got through it the first round. I'm going to be able to get through it the second round and the third round, and whenever it happens. So you know that you're strong enough to get through each of these stages when they pop up, because they never stop. It doesn't. It's like death of a loved one, it's awful. And as time goes on, you move on in life, but the pain is still there. And there's birthdays and holidays, when that grief kicks in. And but you learn how to kind of cope with it, but it never goes away. You're never going to be like, well, I someone passed away and I'm over it. It doesn't work that way. And that's the same with medical trauma. Whenever you go through it, or any kind of trauma that you experience, so you can be a victim or you can be a fighter. I choose to be a fighter, and I will fight to the end of the day. And I don't care if that means me stripping down every layer of how I feel and exposing myself for other people to see. I have no shame on how I feel. I have no shame in expressing, what worked or what didn't work. I think that's the importance, is open conversation, and people knowing that you're not the only one in this position. And mental health is a component of medical trauma that is it's there. And whether people seek resources or not, it's up to you. I encourage it. If you feel equipped that you can handle it, good for you. But you have to acknowledge and go through it. And I think that builds a stronger version of you. It's like, I like to say that it's a little dark, but a part of me died that night that I had my stroke. And, that Wendy doesn't exist. Several parts of me still exist, but there was a part of me that died, but there was a rebirth that happened. And I found that I have become extremely compassionate. And I've always had compassion, but my compassion level has really gone up. And advocating for people, and being there for people, So I feel like I was given a second chance to just, be there, because I've never been embarrassed to like talk about what goes on. Like, that's probably sometimes a downfall, that like I'm never embarrassed to talk about anything. So I'm an open book at all times. So I think my second chance is like, hey, I'm not ashamed. This is how I feel, and hopefully it helps other people. So this was my long conversation with 7 stages of grief. And let me know, like, did you feel that you went through 7 stages of grief? What did you feel that helped you? Are you in the beginning process, like, so just some feedback. Private, message me through Instagram. You can go to brainstrokevoyage.com and you can email me if you want to be open. Make a comment underneath this video in YouTube, or an Instagram under my short video where I talk about how I'm posting this. But let's keep the conversation going. And I don't want people to feel like they're alone or have any guilt. And I know that there's very strong people out there. I've seen it, like every single person that I follow. You guys are very strong people, and I applaud you for that. So I thank you. You guys have helped me tremendously get to the point that I'm at. So hopefully, with all that we're doing by getting our stories out there, every day people have strokes and they stumble across this, and it gives them some hope. So that's my long discussion of the day, is 7 stages of grief. I'm going to do these long discussions once a week, and I will do a topic of the day every day, or something short. So, but I think the deep discussions are going to be more on mental health, and kind of diving deeper into that, because I think that's more than like a 2-minute video to go over that information. So hopefully this helps. Hopefully it didn't rub anyone the wrong way. But hopefully give me feedback. If not, that's okay too. I just hope that someone got something out of this. This is just my personal journey. And again, like I said, I am not a psychologist. I'm not a licensed therapist. I'm not a psychiatrist. So if you do feel like you're in a very dark place, please seek help. You matter. You were given a second chance for a reason. So please find a way to see that there's purpose, and you just need to find it. So I care about you, and I'm there for you. And, let me know, and I can try to find resources for you as well. So hopefully this helps. Thanks, guys. And because I talked so long, my little clicker went out. So got to do it the old-fashioned way and turn it off.